What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Double B here, back with another video. This is Tuddy Talk Week 9. Just do a quick recap of last week, which was Week 8. We dominated, went 7-6, up 5.5 units. Hit a couple plus 200s, 240. So, pretty good week overall. For the season, we're sitting at 23-22, up 8.7 units. So, if you've been tailing along, you're up pretty good. So, gonna keep trying to ride the momentum into Week 9. This is pretty trash week, pretty much. Don't really like many games. It's probably the worst NFL slate I feel like we had all year. A lot of backup quarterbacks, a lot of just, I don't know, very ugly games coming up. But, we're going to try to do our best here. I have 8 games. A lot of teams are on a bye week, so, just going to keep doing what I've been doing, and let's cash some picks. Before I get into it, just like to ask if y'all can subscribe, like, and comment. It helps me grow. It helps the video reach more people, so I'd appreciate it. But not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to get into it. We're going to start off with the first game in Germany at 9:30 Eastern Time. Miami versus Kansas City. I'm going with Tyreek Hill over at Hard Rock for plus 100. It's a toss-up. I feel like you can really go with Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. I just like Tyreek Hill a little more. It's the first time playing against Kansas City. Scores every week. Pretty similar to Travis Kelce. Kansas City's coming off that stinker last week. Didn't even score a touchdown. So I feel like either one you could really play. Even throw them in a 2-leg parlay. Love both of them to score, but I'd lean Tyreek Hill in this matchup here. The next game is the Rams versus Green Bay. This is the 1 o'clock slate. I'm going with Christian Watson over at Hard Rock for plus 250. Most books have him at plus 200 or higher, so whatever book you have, you can get pretty good value for him. He operates as Green Bay's number 1 receiver. I know their offense has been terrible recently, especially in the first half, but the Rams got cooked last week, especially against CeeDee Lamb at 2 touchdowns, like 150, 160 yards. So, this is a good spot for Green Bay to, bounce back, especially in the past game. So, definitely look for him to score. Next game is Tampa Bay versus Houston. Going with a little, value play here is Tank Dell. Anytime touchdown scorer over at PointsBet at plus 290. Pretty good value. Dameon Pierce is out. And I know they have Devin Singletary, and he's, of course, going to be the lead back. But Tank Dell, they use him in the run game as well as they use him in the pass game. So, I like the dual threat. I like the opportunity to score this week. Next game is Washington versus New England. I'm going with Demario Douglas. Anytime touchdown over at Barstool at plus 250. Kendrick Bourne, he's out for the year. So he's going to move up in the depth chart. He looked pretty good last week. Washington has just been getting killed by receivers all year. So, I like the spot here. I like the value for him to score. Next game is Chicago versus New Orleans. You already know I'm going with Alvin Kamara. He's been a cash cow on the series so far. I think I've went with him back-to-back weeks, and he scored, it's a great matchup against Chicago. Like I said, they use him in the pass game, the run game. He's by far their best offensive weapon, playmaker. Love riding with him. Over at FanDuel, minus 125. Don't like playing too many minus prices for anytime touchdown scores, but there's always a few exceptions. Next one up is Minnesota versus Atlanta. This is probably one of, if not the least favorite, definitely one of my least favorite games on the slate. I do think Taylor Heinicke is good, but I think Josh Hall is starting for Minnesota, and don't really know what to expect from him. But I do think people sleep on Taylor Heinicke a little bit. I think he's honestly going to come out and try to show out, and prove that he deserves to be a starting quarterback. So just there's no Drake London either for Atlanta. So, Bijan Robinson, they use them both in the run game and the pass game. So I think he's going to be utilized heavy this week against Minnesota. So I like him to score, especially at plus money over at DK for plus 120. I like it there. Next game up is Arizona versus Cleveland. This is another rocky game, but you know, Cleveland should definitely roll over them. But Cleveland's at home, and I'm going with Amari Cooper at Hard Rock at plus 230. You know, if you know much about Amari Cooper, you know he's most of the time a no-show on the road, so I completely fade him on the road. But at home, he's so much better. If you look at his home and away splits, it's a huge difference. So I usually only play Cooper at home, so he has a great matchup and great value for him to score. I definitely like him to score against Arizona this week. Next game is Seattle versus Baltimore. I'm going Lamar Jackson over at Barstool at plus 155. I think it's pretty good value for him. You know, he's always a threat to score. You know, they get in the red zone. You know, I think Seattle's defense is pretty vulnerable. They already let up a rushing touchdown this year, so I like Lamar Jackson to score this week. Indiana versus Carolina. Going with Adam Thielen over at Caesars. Indiana's biggest weakness on defense is against receivers, specifically allowing them to score. So I like Adam Thielen to score. You know, he's been a target machine for them all season. He's been scoring quite a few touchdowns as well. So I love the spot for him. Love the value for him to, you know, get a touchdown this week. You know, Carolina, you know, their offense looked terrible last week, so hopefully they're going to look to improve that this week. Next game is Dallas versus Philadelphia. I'm going with CeeDee Lamb over at Hard Rock for plus 150. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you know, CeeDee Lamb's coming off a crazy week, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. Philadelphia also struggles against receivers. That's, you know, one of their biggest weaknesses on defense, you know, especially allowing receivers to score. I believe they allow like 12 or 13 receiving touchdowns already this year to receivers. So specifically to number 1 receivers, they get cooked pretty good. So division game, I expect CeeDee Lamb to show up in a big way this week. Next game, and this is actually the last game on the slate for the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. New York Giants versus Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going with Josh Jacobs over at DK minus 105. Don't really know what to expect in this game either. Daniel Jones is coming back, but on the Raiders side, you know, they fired their offensive coordinator, benching Jimmy G. They're starting their rookie Aiden McConnell, one of that. Anyway, yeah, he's going to be starting. You know, don't really know how their offense is going to really look like. So I'd rather go with a safer play and go with Josh Jacobs. You know, he's their main running back. You know, they get in the red zone, they're giving him the ball. So I do think they're going to look to show out this week and definitely try to get a bounce back win. They're the only team that hasn't scored 21 points yet this season. So, you know, I expect this. They have a great matchup, especially Josh Jacobs against the Giants. So I expect them to come out this week and to, you know, look to get back on the win column. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Like always, you know, if you felt like I missed anybody, you know, comment down below who you like to score this week. And like I said, you know, appreciate any support, you know, liking the video, commenting, subscribing. It's all appreciated. So appreciate y'all watching, and let's cash this weekend. Peace.